Okay. Welcome, everybody. Can you see me and hear me okay? Great. So you're welcome to have your cameras on or off. It's up to you. It's nice for us to see at least a few faces, but it's okay either way. So for those of you who weren't here last week for workshop number 1, my name's Chris. I'm a meditation teacher, anxiety coach, body-based therapist. But really, those are just labels. Um, my main qualification to be teaching a workshop like this, Awakening Through Anxiety, is that I've experienced a lot of anxiety in my life, a lot of intense suffering caused by that anxiety. And when I was going through my 20s, I went on a pretty profound journey of exploring many, many different modalities, many, many different teachings with the one goal in mind to find freedom from the anxiety I was experiencing, to find freedom from the the thinking that had me bound in a constricted, suffering way of being. So yeah, that's me. And I'm hosting the workshop with Alex Watson. Alex, would you like to say hello and a few words?
Sure. Yeah, hello everyone. Good to be here. Yeah, as Chris said, my name's Alex. Yeah, I'm also a therapist, body-based therapist, a counselor, got a psychology degree and all that sort of stuff. But similar to Chris, my qualification for teaching this is lots of suffering, lots of anxiety, and yearning to come out the other side. And yeah, so I'm really happy to be here and share this with you tonight.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So what we're going to do, I'm going to talk for just a little while, 15 minutes or so, and I'm going to share a little bit about anxiety and how it can be overcome from my perspective. And then I'm going to pass it over to Alex, and Alex is going to guide us through a bioenergetics practice. And for this practice, you'll be lying on the floor for most of it or all of it. So you need a little bit of space on the floor, enough space to lie down. Yeah. So a couple of things were coming to me to say before the start of this workshop. And so I'm going to say them. Number one, it came to my head, what's the biggest hindrance? What's the biggest block to somebody overcoming anxiety, to somebody going through this inner transformation? What's the number one block? What's the biggest block to coming out of that state of suffering with anxiety and coming into a deeper state of happiness and fulfillment and beingness inside? And there's lots of different blocks. There's lots of different things that can stop you being happy, but to stop you overcoming anxiety. But the biggest one, I thought, is the belief that it's not possible. The belief that it's not possible. You have to believe that it's possible for you to overcome it, no matter what suffering you are in, no matter how deep and dark the the suffering feels, no matter how annoying this anxiety seems to you, no matter how distressing it is, you need to know that it's possible to be overcome. That's the first thing you need. You need to know that it's possible, because when you know that it's possible, then you can head in the direction of freedom. And there's something that goes on within mainstream mental health support. It's this mental health awareness. Everyone's trying to raise awareness of mental health. And also, there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely brilliant. But lots of people with mental health, with anxiety, they'll go to the doctor and the doctor will tell them there's something wrong with them. You have something wrong with your brain. I'm going to give you medication to try and fix it. And what that does when somebody goes to the doctor and they get given the belief that they've got this disorder, something that's really wrong with them and they can't do anything about it, then they can start feeling victimized by it and they can start feeling like they're stuck. And you can get into a state of feeling like there's nothing you can do, so I might as well just suffer for my whole life. And what me and Alex are here to tell you is you don't have to suffer for your whole life. You have a choice. If you want to be free, you can be free. If you want to overcome this, you can overcome this, but it's not easy. It's not easy. We always want a quick fix. We've been conditioned to believe that if something is amiss within us, if something's wrong with us physically or whatever, we go to the doctor and they give us something to get over it. But with anxiety, you have to take the power back into your own hands. You have to make the decision. I want to overcome this. I want to be free. I want to be experiencing the happiness that I really, really know in the depths of my heart is possible for me. And you have to take those steps towards it. So I just wanted to say that. And the reason Alex and I share what we've been through and the stories we've been through is to give you hope, to let you know that it is possible because we were in the absolute depths of it. There's no way when I was 21 that I thought I could get out of it. It was like, how can I get out of this? I really felt so stuck in it, but there was this little glimmer of hope. And thankfully, I found my way to a teacher, a psychologist, who said, Chris, you can get out of this. You can do it. After my first session with this lady, she wrote on a little piece of paper. I was in there talking about my traumas, talking about all the suffering I was going through. And as I left the office, she gave me this little paper and it just said on it, life's a challenge. Embrace it and enjoy it with a little smiley face. And I don't think she realizes how significant that little message was for me. Because it was like, yes, instead of feeling like a victim to this anxiety, I'm going to see it as a challenge. Life is a challenge. Embrace it and enjoy it as much as you can, but embrace it. You can find a way out. You can find a way out. Nobody is stuck in suffering. Nobody is stuck in suffering. So that was the first thing that I wanted to say. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. There's two directions you can go. You can make the choice towards freedom and make that choice every day and walk towards freedom. Or you can stay stuck where you are and make the choice to walk towards freedom because it is so, so worth it. Okay, so I just wanted to say that to start with. So now I want to introduce you to a how to overcome anxiety. And we touched on this last week, but with these sorts of teachings, it can be important repeat to repeat them a little bit and to give them in slightly different ways. Can I just ask that you all stay muted if possible, please? Thank you. So I like to think of anxiety as there's a split within. A little child, say a 2-year-old child, unless they've been through significant trauma at that age, a little 2-year-old child doesn't have a split within. They're whole inside, and you see it in their eyes. They're whole inside. You look into their eyes, there's joy there. There's aliveness there. There's peace there. Now, at a certain point, usually when the child enters from primary school to high school, around that age, maybe younger, at a certain point, the child starts to develop as a way to kind of cope with the challenging emotions and challenging emotions that they feel at school or whatever. The child develops this thinking mind as a way of escaping the feeling. So if you're born into the world and you're a sensitive person, like lots of people on this call, probably the majority of people on this call are sensitive people. If you're born into this world and you're a sensitive person and you come into this family environment that is very stressful and people are shouting and whatever, or even if you just come into a normal family environment that isn't completely loving towards the sensitive child, then the child has to learn to escape from their feelings. And the way they escape from their feelings is by coming up into thinking. And that is actually how the ego mind is developed. The ego mind is developed out of not wanting to feel our feelings. Of course, the child doesn't know this is happening, and nobody knows this is happening to the child. But it starts to become very obvious through high school or earlier that that sense of joyful, innocent, peaceful, alive happiness that you see within a little child, it starts to get veiled by a little bit more seriousness. And then somebody who develops anxiety, what that is basically is these feelings that you've taken on as a child become so much that it pushes you up into thinking and you develop this negative, fearful thinking mind, which is basically telling you stories that something's going to go wrong, this is going to happen, that might happen, all of these things might happen. And that takes you out of the feeling in the body. And you might find that you're living in an almost continuous stream of thinking in the mind, in the head. And that cutting off from the body and coming up into thinking is what creates the split within. And that is what creates the anxious person. And it can be at varying degrees, depending on the level of trauma you experienced or the level of sensitivity that you have. So that's what creates the anxiety. And that's a very simple explanation, obviously. But how do we heal it? How do we heal that split within? There's many ways, but I'm just going to introduce one here. And I want you all right now to feel into your bodies. You can be listening to me, and at the same time, you can feel into your body. Feel into your hands, your arms, your legs. And allow your body and any sensations and any feelings of anxiety that may be present in your body, allow those feelings to come closer to you. If you feel any feelings in your belly, any butterflies, any anxiety in the belly, you come closer to it and you let it come closer to you. If you're not feeling any feelings in the body at this moment, that's completely okay. Just feel what you can feel in the body. Maybe a tingling sense of aliveness in the hands. Tingling sense of aliveness in the feet, legs, arms. And close your eyes if you want and put one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly and just breathe into the body. Say yes to your body. Say yes to your body. Say yes to the feelings in your body. Because the anxiety sufferer is saying no to the body, is saying no to the feelings. And it's that saying no to the body. It's that saying no to the fear. It's that saying no to the panic. It's that saying no to the jittery anxiety, which keeps it going. It's resistance to it. It's pushing it away that keeps it going. So the way that we reverse the anxiety, the way that we heal the anxiety, one of the ways is by, instead of saying no to it, instead of getting away from it and escaping into the mind, into the thinking, or into distraction in the world, we say yes to it and we come closer to it. You might feel a tightness in the heart. If you do, you just say yes to it. You go closer to that tightness. Now, if you're not used to doing this, something in you might not really want to do it. And that's okay. You just say yes to that one as well. You say yes to that one as well. You can use the breath, breathing deeply into your belly, breathing into your heart, feeling, experiencing the body. Like a child, I know I said this last week, but like a child who is scared. Imagine a child's been put in your care for some reason, and that child's shaken up, scared. What does that child need? What does it really need in order to heal? What does a child that's traumatized, maybe they've been through a war zone, what do they really need to heal? They need love. It's love that heals anxiety. And there's this, I heard this saying from this nun, I can't remember who she was, but it said, attention equals love. Love equals attention. Whether you realize it or not, when you're placing attention in your body, you're bringing love into your body. If you have a certain contraction, maybe in the throat or the heart or the belly or the shoulders, wherever it is in the body, as soon as you bring attention away from thinking and place it into the body, you're bringing love into that area. And in doing this, in coming into the body, in feeling all the sensations, all the emotions, feeling the inner aliveness of your body, tasting your body with your awareness, you heal that split within. And you gradually start to feel like you're becoming whole again. You start bringing yourself home. And the amazing thing is, you start to feel and experience that you're being held by this loving presence, that there's this loving presence holding your body. Don't believe me. I discovered this on my own. I'd been doing this for a while. I'm not sure how long. And then one day I thought, there's this loving presence holding my body. And that loving presence is actually your own love. It's your own heart. But you start to feel held by life. You start to feel safe in the world. And as well as this, I'll just say one more thing because we need to move on to Alex's bioenergetics soon. But what you'll come across when you start coming into your body like this and courageously coming into your body, what you'll come across gradually, usually, bit by bit, is all of these emotions which you were unable to feel as a child, as a teenager, or even in when you went through traumatic, difficult things as an adult, all of these experiences which you escaped from into the thinking or escaped from, you didn't want to feel and escaped from, you cut yourself off from them. And remember, it's that cutting yourself off from feeling which creates the split inside, which creates the state of anxiety, which creates the worrying, anxious thinking. When you start coming back into your body like this, all the feelings that you pushed away, that you denied, start to feel they want to come up into the light of your awareness. They want to be liberated into the light of your awareness. Your body is incredibly intelligent. We have an animal body. Almost all animals, if you see them go through something traumatic, I've got a little scared Labrador. As soon as we got her, she was scared. We don't know why. She was scared. And she's a lovely, lovely dog, but the littlest thing that you can just shout at her for being on the sofa or the littlest thing, and she starts shaking, a bang outside, and she starts shaking. She shakes for a few minutes and then she's fine. If you see an animal that's on a nature documentary, they're being chased by a lion and the lion gets them and then they escape and then they run away from the lion. They get to some safe place near a tree or whatever. And when they feel safe, they start shaking. The body knows how to release. And we have that same mechanism within ourselves. The body knows how to release. But unlike an animal, we have a conditioned thinking mind which tries to control the body, which tries to control our experience. A little child doesn't quite have this control mechanism. So what do when they go through something difficult? A 3-year-old child, they scream and they cry and they shake and they, ah, but we've been conditioned. We're not allowed to do that. So we've held it all in. We have this controlling mechanism inside. Why was I saying this? Yes, when you start to come back into the body and you start to do this work with bioenergetics, releasing, feeling, finding freedom from the thinking, that control mechanism starts to loosen. And the natural healing mechanism of your body starts to come online. And you may cry, you may feel emotions and cry, you may shake, you may naturally feel to stretch in kind of unusual ways. The body knows how to release when the mind gets out of the way. But that isn't likely to happen all in one go. It's a gradual process of letting go of that control and allowing the healing mechanism of the body to come back online. It's an absolutely beautiful, wonderful, brilliant, incredible process. And as difficult as the suffering that I've experienced in my life has been, I am grateful for it. It's been the greatest gift because it's put me in touch with this jewel inside my own heart, this jewel of love, this jewel of goodness inside my own heart. And that can sound, I don't know, I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know it was possible to experience that. And that has come out of this work. It's been born out of this work. And only somebody who's been through a lot of suffering and found their way through this healing can know that jewel of the heart, can know that jewel inside the heart. And every single wound has a different flavor. The anger that you hold inside has a flavor of divinity. You could call it divinity. It has a flavor of that. The pain inside your heart has a flavor, a different flavor. All the wounds have different flavors. When you open them up, you come into different flavors of your own being. And it's an amazing, wonderful process. So when I say that anxiety is a gift, and when I say this is the greatest challenge you've been given, it's a challenge to discover the most amazing jewels inside. There's an incredible gift. There's an incredible jewel at the end of the tunnel. And perhaps it never ends. It's a constant revealing of deeper and deeper levels of yourself. But it's a wonderful process. And you can find peace again. And you will find peace again if you want it and if you go for it. So I've spoken enough. Thank you so much. Um, at the end of in the Q&A section, I just wanted to say we're going to be covering health anxiety and social anxiety. I just wanted to say that because we've had quite a few questions on that this week. But I'll leave it there. I'll pass it over to Alex. Thank you.
Okay, guys. So, so yeah, as Chris was saying, we have this side of us which is very animalistic in nature. A side of us which can naturally release. I think last week we were saying, how dogs shake and birds flap their wings, and all animals have some form of release, and that's what we're going to work with today. Actually, just to say something else quickly, all human beings, when we are born, we tend to have this split. Chris was saying how we kind of disconnect from this body, mind, and then we kind of, live up here and there's a lot going on down here. And it's actually very scientific. I don't want to go too much into science, but it is somewhat scientific that we have these powerful frontal lobes, these big parts of the brain here. And then we also have another part of the brain called the limbic system, which has a job to release this charge, these emotions, this anxiety that's built up. So one part of our brain is trying to drive us forward and out, and another part of our brain is trying to drive us back in towards the body, towards feeling, because it wants to discharge the charge that's built up. So it's very much like having your foot on the accelerator and your foot on the brake at the same time. That's often what it's like for somebody that experiences anxiety. They're just trying to run away, but the body's continuously pulling them back, saying, "Come back here, feel me, please, please feel me." So I just wanted to add that. But today we're going to be working with the psoas muscles. These muscles here, I can't really see me, but up here, down into the legs, the groin, the pelvis. Yeah, really getting into the lower part of the body. And yeah, we're going to be working with a particular breathing technique, Reichian breathing or belly breathing. And I know some of you have done this, and like last week, if you have done this, treat it like it's the first time you've ever done it. Every time I do a bodywork session, I approach it like I'm completely brand new, I'm a total beginner. Um, yeah, it's the best way. So yeah, I've got a bit to get through, so I'm just going to crack straight on with it. So what we're going to do, we're going to be lying back on our mat. Oh, well, I say mat on the floor, a mat. Just make sure you're not on the bed. I've seen it before when we've taught this, when people are laid on the bed and then 10 minutes in, they're fast asleep and they're snoring. So we don't want that. Make sure you've got a nice firm surface. It can be, a fairly padded carpet. Laminate would probably be okay as well. But yeah, whatever you can do, just not the bed. So we're going to be laying in this position. Hopefully you can see me. My feet are flat on the mat. Don't worry about following along. I'm just going to demonstrate for the time being. So my feet are flat on the mat. My head's going to be laid back on the mat. My gaze is straight ahead and my eyes are open. Very important, like last week, we're not closing the eyes. We're keeping the eyes open. We've got a willingness to look at what's going on, to feel what's coming up. If we shut the eyes, it's very easy to get into the mind and to start to disassociate, start to think, start to space out and just forget what we're doing basically. So keep the eyes open. It'll help us focus on a point in front of you. If there's like a light or something turned off that you can focus on. So feet flat. And what we're going to do for 6, maybe 8 minutes, we're going to practice Reichian belly breathing. And all I'm going to do, my palms are laid next to me, flat out. I'm going to push my belly out, and the rest of my body is isolated. So my legs are relaxed, my chest, my diaphragm, neck, throat. And all I'm going to do is push my lower belly out to the lowest point, so below the belly button, maybe like 4 inches below the belly button, almost towards the pubic bone. So I'm going to push the lower belly out and let air come in. So as follows, hopefully you can see. I've not got the best background with a black t-shirt on and black fireplace, but hopefully you can make it out what I'm doing. So I'm pushing my belly out for 4 or 5 seconds, letting the air come in. And then I'm just going to relax the belly, letting the air go out. Pushing the belly out. The air naturally comes in, and then the belly falls away. And the air naturally goes out. But what we're looking to do here is to build up a charge in the body. Just to add as well, I'm kind of presuming that it was all here last week, but I know we probably all wasn't. With bioenergetics, there's breathing, feeling, and maintaining a stretch. Yeah, I should have maybe covered that to start with. So there's three elements to bioenergetics: breathing in and out through the mouth, maintaining a stretch, and really feeling the body. So that's the breathing element. And also, when we're breathing in that way, when we're pushing out the lower belly, we are feeling the body. That's what creates the healing. That gets us deeper into the body, into the feeling sense. So, just one more time, laying back, my eyes are open, I'm pushing my belly out. The breath naturally comes in, I'm feeling my body. The lower belly folds away and the breath goes out, and I'm also feeling my body. So we're going to do that for 6 minutes. So that'll be 3 dings. Then we're going to go into our rest posture, which is the diamond leg posture. Maybe if you're familiar with yoga, it's simply just bringing the soles of the feet together onto the mat, knees falling away exactly as we are. And we're going to continue that breathing, continue that charging breath the best we can. So this is the start of the stretches, start of the postures. Pushing my belly out, breath falls away, and feeling my body. Then we're going to do this for 1 ding. So once the ding's gone, we're going to very slightly lift our tailbone up. Now, this is really important. This is probably the most strenuous part of this posture. We're going to do this for either 4 or 6 minutes. I'm not sure yet. But we're going to lift the tailbone up. So keeping the soles of the feet touching, we're going to lift the tailbone up. But it's not a yogic power lift. We're not coming really far up. We're literally coming, I don't know, maybe 1 inch, 2 inches absolute max off the floor. So we're literally staying like this for 4 or 5, 6 minutes, continuously breathing and feeling. And as I say, this will probably be the most strenuous part of this posture. And it's really important that we stay present with it. Stay present with the tension, stay present with any feeling that is starting to come up. That's the connection. This is how we start to connect the mind and body. You know, for the average person, we're fragmented, we're disassociated, but by starting to feel, it's how we start to build a relationship, how we start to build a connection with the body. And the more connected to the body we are, the less anxiety we'll feel because we'll be able to integrate it, we'll be more grounded, we'll be more in the body, we'll be more in that limbic system. We're not running from that part of the brain anymore, we're in it. So the tailbone is up. Don't worry about remembering it. As ever, I'll be guiding us through. The tailbone up, the ding will go, tailbone comes down, rest position or diamond leg posture as we was. The 1 ding, and then we're going to, for another 2 dings, we're going to very softly start to bring the knees together. So the soles of my feet are touching, they're flat on the floor, and I'm just gradually bringing my knees together. And the second my feet start to separate, I've gone too far, so I slacken off a bit. Hopefully that makes sense. Then the ding will go again, and for 10 minutes, we're literally going to separate our feet, put them flat on the mat with the ankle bones touching, and let the knees fall away, whilst allowing the feet to stay firmly planted on the mat. They're nice and grounded. And then if the feet start to come away, if they start to separate, come up from the mat, we've gone too far. And then we just softly bring them back and then start the process again of letting them fall away. But what I want to say with this exercise in particular, or this series of exercises, it's very much a feeling journey. It's not so much about getting the posture perfect. It's quite intuitive. It's very, you could say feminine, you could say feeling, you could say Um, yeah, a lot of things. It's much more to do with finding the sweet spot. So don't get caught up in your mind. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? How's Alex doing it? What are the others doing? You'll know. You'll know. Just keep breathing, keep bringing that breath down into the belly and keep on feeling. Keep on feeling and see what goes on for you. And then we'll just maybe finish by lying out on the mat and then come back together at the end. Does that sound good? Excited? Right, I'll put the timer on. So we're going to be starting on a 2 minute ding, just with the belly breathing. And as I said, for this first 6 minutes, really having that intention to stay present. Of course, you're going to drift off. I still drift off. We're all going to drift off. It's not about that. What it's about is having that intention to come back to the body, to feel what's going on. Okay, guys, right, I've got the timer on. Let's begin. So my feet firmly on the floor. Say firmly. I'm not like driving my feet in or anything. They're just resting on the mat. And then once I've got the posture, which isn't really much of a posture, but lying back with our knees up, nice and relaxed. Start the breathing process where we push the lower belly out, so the lowest point of the belly. Seeing how far we can feel into the lower belly. And just as a rough guide, we can be like 4 or 5 seconds for the in breath, 4 or 5 seconds for the out breath. But you don't have to count, you can if it helps. But as I said, it's much more feeling based. Do what feels right, but it's got to be open mouth breathing. We're looking to build a charge up in the body. We can do it. Very healing for the lower back, an area that's prone to lots of tension, lots of holding, lots of repression. Same for the pelvis, the genital region. Really feeling into this part of the body. Keep it going. The first thing, pushing the belly out. The air naturally comes in. Letting the belly go. The air naturally falls out. Flows out. And don't be shy with the feeling sense. Feel into the body. Really feel as deeply as you can. Notice with that in breath that it takes you deeper. The breath comes in, parts of the body start to light up. We're not looking to create that, but if we just stop and feel or acknowledge the feeling sense, we can see that it's already there. The breath can heighten this. Feeling into the psoas muscles, feeling into the legs. Just seeing any way the body's trying to communicate. There's often subtle signs that the body wants to release. It's almost like the body offers parts of the body up to us tension in the form of tension, wanting to be released. So stick with it, breathing with the belly, feeling the body. That's all we're doing. Doing great. The rest of the body is isolated. It's just my belly that's moving the best I can. And don't beat yourself up if you can't do that. Most of us just breathe from our chests or our throats, even further up, just from our mouth or our nose. We're taking it on in a patient and loving way, feeling every step, every breath, every sensation in the body. Anxiety is present now. Allow it to be there. We're not trying to tear away from it. In fact, we're doing the opposite. We're allowing it to get bigger, to come into our experience. And keep going for one more ding. Staying present, you can do it. Taking it one breath at a time. How present can I be with the breath? How present can I be with the body? To be fully present with the body is to be fully present to life itself. The body is presence. Even if you can sense that, the meaning of that. Pushing that belly out, feeling every single movement. Maybe you're starting to feel more, feel what's going on a little bit more in the body, perhaps. If not, that's okay. Okay, there's the D. Soles of the feet together, diamond leg posture. So simply letting the knees fall away. Excuse me, I've got a cough. So soles of the feet touching and the knees falling away from each other. Continuing with this breathing and feeling. You may notice with each out breath that the knees start to separate a little bit more. But same again, we're not looking to make that happen. We just sometimes be part of the experience. Push that belly out, feel the body. Such a great remedy for anxiety, bringing awareness further down into the body. The average person, our awareness is just up top. And for the anxiety sufferer, it's permanently up top. There's the ding. Keep the soles of the feet touching now. We're going to very, very gradually bring the tailbone off the mat 1 to 2 inches. 2 is the absolute max we can go. As I said, this is probably the most strenuous part of this workout. Well, in fact, it is. So if you can, take it on for the time we're going to do it. I encourage you to do so. Of course, if you have any ailments, anything at all, then you can relax and return to it when you feel to. But let's keep that tailbone up. Keep that breathing going. And keep feeling the body. We can do it. Breathing into the pelvis. Breathing deeply into the ball of the pelvis. How much feeling can you activate? How deeply can you sense into the pelvis, into the psoas muscles? Maybe a little trickier to keep that breathing going, but that's okay. Just do what you can. For many of us, this is our first time doing bioenergetics. And for some of us, we're quite experienced with the bioenergetic way of breathing and feeling in this way. So taking it on, if you are a little bit more experienced, take it on to keep that deep belly breathing going. Of course, being patient, being kind, being present. Tailbone up, we can do it. Oh. Like last week, if you was there, you can make a bit of sound on the out breath, so making it slightly audible. Making a sound like you're just getting in a nice hot bath. Oh. Feeling into the groin, feeling into the pelvis, feeling into the legs. Breathing deep. Almost there. Keep that tailbone up. Let's take it on. As a team, as a group, we're all doing it together. Tailbone is up 1 to 2 inches max. Allow that body to start to come back online. Oh. Noticing the relationship between the breath and the feeling sense. Okay, well done. There's the ding. Let's bring that tailbone down. Going back into our rest position, diamond leg posture, feet touching, soles of the feet touching. One ding. Keeping those eyes open, breathing and feeling. Maybe that was easy for you, or maybe it was intense, or somewhere in between. It doesn't really matter. What's important is that we did it. And what's even more important is that we stick with the breathing and feeling elements. We don't start to switch off. We don't start to space out. We stay with the practice. We stay with the body. Seeing how low down you can bring that breath. Maybe it's somewhere at the top of the diaphragm, or maybe you can actually get all the way down to the perineum. Starting the breath from that point, feeling the body. Okay, so there's the ding. Staying very present, keeping the soles of the feet touching. We are just going to very softly start to bring the knees together. The knees are never actually going to touch or meet, but it's just an energetic movement with the knees gradually coming up to the point in the middle. And the second my feet start to separate, I've gone too far, so I just slacken off a bit. And then I start the process again. But look for that sweet spot if you can. This is what I was saying. Don't get caught up on the posture so much. Just feel your way through. Feel into the legs. Keep breathing deep. We're doing a couple of things with this posture. Deep belly breaths. Feeling every step. Feeling every cell. In fact, how much can you feel? If your body is starting to move a little bit, starting to shake, maybe in the legs, it may be in the diaphragm, it may be in the arms, the best you can allow it. Allow the process to take place. Quite often my pelvis wants to lift off the mat. And if that is the case, I allow it. I don't have to follow what we're doing so rigidly, but I always return back to what we're doing, which is bringing the knees up gradually. If the pelvis did want to start coming off the mat, bumping up and down, and I would allow that. thing with anxiety is that we're always trying to control the outcome. We're always trying to control our experience. We're always trying to control how we feel. Keep going. Breathing deep. Upward movement with the legs, with the knees, sorry. Soles of the feet touching. We can do it. Really feel the body, filling it up with oxygen, allowing it to have some say, some control back in the body. There's the ding. Getting ready to move into our final posture. My feet now flat on the mat. The soles of the feet are not touching. I'm going to allow my ankle bones to touch and the knees just softly fall away from each other. My knees are falling away. My knees are falling away. And when the soles of the feet come off the floor or off the mat, off the carpet, I've gone too far. And then I just slowly allow the soles of the feet to touch the mat again. And then I start the process again. But as I said, it's very much a feeling journey. In some ways, you could say there's no right or wrong way to do this, but it is good to have that guidance of the feet flat on the mat and the knees falling away. Keep on breathing and keep on feeling. We're going to be doing this for a few dings now. And you can close your eyes for this part of the sequence. You feel like it's going to help you to go inside a little bit more, and that's okay. But really having that intention to feel, 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 feel. We can do it. Looking for that sweet spot. And if nothing's happening, that's okay too. You're not looking to make anything happen. You're simply looking to just feel, breathe, and stretch. That's the point. That's the purpose of what we're doing. Any experience, any movement, anything at all that wants to happen, we just leave that to the body. Anything else is just the mind trying to control, trying to predict, trying to manipulate. So just stick to the three elements of bioenergetic practice. Oh, oh, ah. Sticking with the process, sticking with your own process. Very important. Giving yourself the fullest attention. Knees are falling away. Second, the feet come off the mat, I gradually just bring them back up and then start the process looking for that sweet spot. Oh. You're doing great, guys. Stick with it. Stick with it. Staying present. I know it can be difficult. It can be difficult to stay present with the body in this way. So use the breath. Utilize the breath. I say utilize the breath. I mean you can focus on the breath. You can focus on the body. That helps us stay present. When we connect, when we connect to the breath and the body, there we are, fully present, fully receptive, fully open. Ah, bringing that breath down into the pelvis. We're going to go for one more ding. We're taking it on. We've got 2 minutes. Can we stay present for this full 2 minutes? Can we feel as deeply as we can for this full 2 minutes? I think we can. Taking it on, taking ourselves on, using that breath and using that feeling sense, knees falling away. Here we go. Looking for any natural sense of vibration, of shaking, of trembling, anything at all, feeling deeply into the core of the legs, of the groin, of the pelvis, the ball of the pelvis. Breath comes in, feeling the body. As the breath leaves, we're also feeling the body. Okay, there's the ding. Not in a rush to come out of this posture. But when you feel to, maybe 10, 20, 30 seconds time, you can start to stretch out your legs. And we're just going to lay flat on the mat, on the floor, whatever we're lying on, with our eyes closed, breathing however we like, however the body wants to breathe. See how you can tap into the body senses, the body's aliveness. See if you can feel what's going on in the body. arms facing towards the sky, relaxed in every part of the body. So we're just really letting the body get heavy whilst we scan with our awareness each part of the body. We're going to be doing this for 2 dings. Eyes closed, staying present, staying relaxed. There's the first ding. One more ding. And just making sure we're not unconsciously holding anywhere in the body. Just checking in with the feet, checking in with the calves, the legs, the entire leg. Checking in with the belly, the lower back. Is there any unconscious holding, gripping, tensing? If so, just feel into that. By feeling into that, it initiates a type of release. It's like the beginning phase of release, of letting go. It's very powerful and healing for the body. Just check in with those tense parts of ourselves. What is it they're holding in? What does the body have to tell us? Okay, there's that second ding, but same again, we're not in a rush to come back up. Maybe taking 10, 20, 30 seconds, rolling up onto our side, and just coming back into a seated position. And we're just going to sit together for a short while. Keeping the eyes closed when you sat down. And I want you to remain feeling the body. Remain present with the body. What does that mean? Now we can call this meditation, but we're really just simply being here now with what's going on. There's nothing so mystical about it. Feeling the body is a very ordinary, simple experience. Just checking in with the different parts of our body again, seeing if we are holding. For example, I can feel my right foot wants to tense, wants wants to start to hold and grip. So I breathe into that part of my body. I'm breathing into that part of my body and letting it know that I'm here. I'm not running from it. I'm being with it. Just as an experiment for this next minute or two, I'd like us to see if we can do nothing, like literally do nothing. The mind can think, we can feel what's going on in the body, but try not to engage in anything. We're just completely stopping any engagement with our external world. When I say external world, I mean thoughts and feelings as well. They are external to what we are. If you notice that you've got lost in thought, that's okay. We stop that and come back. We drop the thinking and come back. And that's what I'd like to leave us with, is this coming back continuously, continuously, continuously coming back. Dropping the mind, not getting caught up with the feelings, just coming back to the sense of the body. And that's how we get there. That's the big, big secret. Okay, guys, I'm aware we're on 7:15. And yeah, we've still got a little bit of stuff to cover. And so have a stretch out, do what you need to do, a glass of water. And I will, yeah, I'll first of all say well done as ever. I hope you found it useful. Hope you got in there into the psoas muscles, into the pelvis. Um, that was amazing. Oh, great. Oh, that was a direct message. Maybe I shouldn't have let that out. That was a group message. But yeah, okay, guys, well done. Keep feeling the body. I am going to pass it over to Chris, but very, very important to keep feeling the body. This is very deep. It might have felt nice. It maybe didn't feel nice. I don't know. But what is important is that we keep feeling the body. Keep feeling the body, seeing how deeply we can feel. Yeah? Okay. Over to you, Chris.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex. That was great. Yeah, with a lot of the work that we do, the bioenergetics and the emotional work, these feelings that we pushed away when we were kids can start to arise. You may notice with that, if there was shaking going on, you may notice feeling arising within your body. Now, this doesn't mean something's gone wrong. It might actually mean something's gone right. because when stuff releases from the body and comes up into your conscious awareness, that is when it has the potential to be healed. And that is when it has the potential to be released. Sometimes things release without you really knowing that they do, but sometimes you might feel a wave of sadness or more fear in the body, and that's okay when you do these practices. We're lifting the lid gradually off the repression. It's like bottle of a bottle of Coke or something that the lid's been tightly screwed on and it's been shaken up, and the anxiety sufferer is like that bottle of Coke. There's the repressed feelings of the shaken up Coke. And what we're trying to do is like gently undo that lid to relieve the pressure, because the anxiety, it's a pressure in the system due to trauma, conditioning, old emotions laid down within the body. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because to support the process, there's one other element which is quite important. And I'm going to invite you into it now. So right now, notice how you feel. You don't necessarily need to be feeling into the body right now. Just notice the general sense of how you feel compared to how you felt before the call. And notice how there might be something in your experience which is quiet. You might feel a quietness in your experience. My teacher, Craig, calls this a supreme silence. A supreme silence. Because the true nature of our minds is completely at peace, is completely quiet. What we really, really are is completely at peace and completely quiet. It can feel very noisy inside the anxiety sufferer's mind. The anxiety sufferer can feel very noisy going about the day, lots of thinking, lots of agitation. But there is also an aspect of yourself which you can never lose. It's what you really are, which is completely quiet, completely still. And you might be able to just sense that silent, quiet quality within your own experience right now. And you can just place your attention there. Give your attention to that quiet. Because the more you give attention to that quiet quality of being, the more you give your attention to your heart, the more you enjoy that quiet quality of being, which may feel subtle. It may even feel neutral at first. The more that quiet quality of being becomes more and more vivid and more obvious within your experience. And that busy thinking mind is allowed to settle down. So I just wanted to say that because that's another element of this teaching that Alex and I provide, is getting in touch with the silence that's already here. So I'm going to ask Alex a little question that came to me when I was doing the bioenergetics practice in a moment. And then we're going to get into the Q&A. I just want to say, for those of you who weren't here last week, if you're enjoying this work, you're getting something from it, we are continuing on from next Tuesday for 8 more weeks. And it's called Alchemizing Anxiety. It's a full immersion into this work. And in that, we're going to give you everything. We're going to give you everything that we can, everything that we know. It's a full 8-week program. Alex will be doing live bioenergetic sessions every Tuesday evening. And each week you'll be invited to practice the bioenergetics as much as you can or as much as you want to through the week. There'll also be weekly video lessons from me, lots of guided meditations, weekly guided meditations. And there'll also be the option to join sharing circles, which are often a really powerful part of our course. Callum's going to be hosting. Do you want to give people away if Callum's going to be hosting the sharing circles? And yeah, so you will have the opportunity to share your heart. Sometimes we need to speak what's been going on. We need to share with people the difficult experiences we've been through. We need to open that throat and let it move through. So that's a big part, and people usually love that. But we leave it as optional because some people, I mean, obviously it's all optional, but some people would prefer not to do that. But lots of people find it very, very valuable. If you are struggling with social anxiety and we do become like a little bit of a close-knit team. Everyone's in it together. It's a much smaller group. It's a lovely, yeah, we travel together on this journey and it's a lovely group. But if you're somebody who really wants to just take the journey on your own and you're not feeling like you want to be part of the group, there's also the option to come along and do the sessions and keep your camera off or watch on the recordings if that feels more comfortable to you. But we do invite you and encourage you to be part of the group because it's a wonderful healing experience. It really is. Um, yeah. So, is there anything else on that? I don't think so. Um, I wanted to. Well, I'll ask Alex. Do you want to add anything about the course? And I also want to ask you. Well, I'll ask you the second question after.
Um, yeah, in terms of the course, I mean, we'll be coming together each week, every Tuesday, just like we have been, and doing various exercises, various bioenergetic postures. And we're really going to go on a journey around the body, starting right from the feet all the way up top to the face, to the jaw, and so on. Um, yeah, it takes commitment. This work, it's like doing the bioenergetics is not always easy, and the mind has lots of excuses, but doing it as a group, as a community, can really kind of hold that container and give us the support that we need. So yeah, it's going to be a deep dive as ever. So hopefully see some of you, if not all of you, on that.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex. So the question that was coming to me, because I've spoken a lot on this call, you've most of your speaking's been in the leading the bioenergetics. So this workshop series has been called Awakening Through Anxiety. So what is awakening? How do you awaken through anxiety? What is awakening through anxiety and how do you do that? And how do you overcome anxiety in in a nutshell from your perspective? Um, yeah, I know it's a big question, but I just felt to ask that.
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's yeah, I think for me personally, awakening through anxiety is actually anxiety awakening through you whilst being calm, whilst being relaxed. So when we finished at the end there and we was tapping into the sense of the body, and I said, well, that's the big secret, like to stay connected to this place inside where we don't get involved. And to me, I'd say anxiety awakening through the body whilst we are remaining totally okay, fundamentally okay, um, is how we awaken through anxiety and how we use it. It's such a powerful force. So if you can remain relaxed and remain calm and remain centered and grounded whilst we're in like a panic attack, for example, then yeah, you're a really powerful being if you can do that. It's not easy, it takes practice.
Yeah. And people with anxiety are powerful beings. It's
Absolutely, absolutely. It's yeah. It's such a topic that should be promoted, and it's not just anxiety. It's mental health in general. Like people with mental health kind of get put down to some degree, like they can't cope with life and it's this, that, and the other. But really, people that have mental health or anxiety, it's like the strongest people on the planet. It's like we're not just going through the day doing jobs and everything else that goes with it. We have this whole thing, this whole world that's going on inside of us that we have to deal with, relationships, jobs, and all the rest of it. And then there's this anxiety. It's like, wow, how on earth do we even manage? How on earth do we even cope with it? It takes a really, really strong person to do that. Because a lot of people crumble, a lot of people crumble. Like they just can't hack it, they can't handle it. And that's not having a go, it's just, the truth, really.
Okay. Thank you so much, Alex. So does anybody have any questions? Does anyone want to come onto the mic or ask questions in the chat?
Can I ask a question? First of all, this is my first time here, so I missed last week. Is there a recording?
Yeah, if you've signed up, when did you sign up? Was it a while ago or?
I honestly, I've had brain fog, so I can't remember.
Well,
It's clearing tonight, though. And the other question is, how often should I practice what we practiced just now? Daily?
I mean, I think daily's good, but it's I mean, just feel into it. Feel into what's right for you. I mean, I practice every day, but I've been doing this for a lot of years. I'd say like a minimum of 3 or 4 times, say 4 times a week, to really get the benefit from
Yeah.
bioenergetics. I'd say like a minimum of four, but you can practice it every day if you feel to and you feel like you're getting the results. Then go for it.
I had amazing results. I've done TRE in the past, trauma release
Mm-hmm.
exercise, and I've never shook like I shook tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice,
that was really, really good.
excellent.
And it's good to know the psoas release is just one of the exercises for bioenergetics. If you watch the recording, we went through a whole other completely different set of exercises the week before, and there's loads of different exercises for all different parts of the body and different ways to release. So if you send us an email, we can shoot you the recording over from the first workshop if you haven't got it. Also,
Brilliant.
check your junk; it might have gone into your junk because we did send the replay out. Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
thank you, thank you. Any other questions, guys? So
Yeah, I can see it.
you fit.
Yeah. So someone is asking, I'd like to know why it's important to breathe through the mouth during the exercises of bioenergetics. Is it somehow also to sort of trigger the fight flight response? Yeah, absolutely. So when we're breathing through the mouth, we're not looking to calm the body. If we're going to calm the mind, calm the body, we breathe through the nose. But if we want to charge up the body with oxygen, activate the body, activate the feeling sense, then we use the mouth, deep open mouth breathing. So it gets in there, it activates, as you say, that fight and flight response. And then we can be there to meet the feelings and feel them essentially or experience them so they're not stuck in the body. So using the breath as a way to get in there, get deeper into the body. Hopefully that helped.
So your vet, I think it's called, says, do you have to pay the full amount for the course in one go? No, you can pay also in 3 monthly installments if that's better for you. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Did you say there was something on social anxiety, Chris, what we was going to tap into, something that had come in?
Yeah, so what I wanted to talk about, because we had quite a few questions through the week about social anxiety and health anxiety. So we'll just talk about that a little bit. And if any questions, final questions come for you guys, you can ask us after. But yeah, maybe I'll start with asking you, Alex, just about, we'll start with health anxiety and then we'll move on to social anxiety and we'll try and cover both topics.
Hmm.
Okay, so what are your recommendations for health anxiety? So worrying about, yeah, health anxiety.
Yeah, so I mean, I always come at it from the same angle, like I think with anxiety, whether it's social, whether it's health, whether it's, general anxiety, whether it's PTSD, I always come at it from the same angle. We try to complicate the matter, like we get into our mind and we try to figure it out. We try to figure out, okay, what are the steps? How do I deal with this? How do I approach it? And actually, from my own experience, it just takes you further away. So my approach is, and it'd be the same for social anxiety, is to start to feel the body more, start to come into the body more. Um, yeah, learning to familiarize ourselves with the feeling of anxiety, and it doesn't really matter what label we give it. The approach for me is always the same. When I work with clients, we are always coming back to the body. We're always coming back to the feeling, and that's where we start. There's a saying. I don't know if I said it last week, but the body doesn't lie. The body is reality. The mind is an illusion. The body is reality. When we say the body, feeling the body, we are really getting into the root of what's going on. Um, so for me personally, that's where I like to work. And familiarizing ourselves with feeling the body is one way to do that.
Thank you. So I'll also answer the question, and I would agree with you completely, but I'll answer it in my own way.
Mm-hmm.
So I experienced health anxiety and social anxiety a lot, really badly, and I don't experience them anymore. Obviously, sometimes you get little waves of this and that every now and then, and that's fine. Sometimes I can be shy occasionally, but not to the same extent as what I experienced in my 20s, where it was this hellish experience. So I'm going to share with you what I did to overcome it, and I'll try and be quite quick. But health anxiety is the way I experienced it, and it's probably the same for most people, is you can say you're online and you're reading, you want to read about your symptoms. Everyone with health anxiety wants to know about, okay, this symptom's happened. Lots of people go to the hospital time and time again, go to the doctors time and time again. It's anxiety, but the symptoms are created out of the anxiety. It's like the placebo effect creates these symptoms. So what happens is you can read something online like, oh, if you have a mole this color, it means you've got cancer. And that, or something like that. And that can bring this panic up in the system. And then that panic in the body, that energy of fear in the body starts creating worried thinking in the mind, like, oh no. And then you need to check. And then you try and find online more reasons why you don't have it, but you accidentally find all the reasons why you do have it. And you can get pulled into this spiral of hell. Or you're not even online and you get pulled into this mind loop of I'm going to die when I'm in the next 5 years or whatever it is. You get pulled into this difficulty in the mind. So what you need to do, if you know that you've got health anxiety, is don't go online, at least for a while. Don't go online when this trigger comes up and see what is happening inside of you. Sit down away from your laptop. What is happening inside of you? See that there's thoughts going on, fearful thoughts. I'm going to die. I've got this symptom. I've got that symptom. And the feelings it creates in the body. And notice the vicious cycle that happens. Become aware that the thoughts feed the feelings and the feelings feed the thoughts. And this scared, anxious self is created in the head, and that holds on, and it can just keep going and going and going. Now, the first thing is to become aware of that mechanism. And when you're aware that the thoughts are feeding the feelings, then what you need to do is, as soon as it works best when you catch it as soon as it comes on. So you're going about your day and you notice, I'm getting anxious about my health. Notice it then. There's thoughts and feelings, and bring attention away from the thoughts, like Alex said, and into the body, and stay with the body. Something in you will really want those thoughts. It will want to follow the thoughts. It feels like it's safe to be in the thoughts. Those thoughts are the safety, but no, those thoughts are what are keeping you stuck in this condition. Be brave, be courageous, and bring attention into the body and stay. Boom. Stay with the body. Stay with the body and notice it will try and pull you into, oh, but my dad had this cancer, so I've got a 20% more chance. No, don't go there. Stay with the body. That is your doorway to freedom. And this condition, it's so powerful. Health anxiety can be so powerful. It can so powerfully pull you into suffering, but it can so powerfully pull you into your being. And if you manage to do this, you will notice this peace arising inside, this causeless, joyful peace arising inside. And all the work that we do in this course, all that we've been sharing is putting you in touch with something that you are beyond the body and the mind. This essence, the essence of what you really are. And when you get in touch with that, not at a mental level, something deep within you intuitively comes to know that that can never die. That can never die. And it gives you this sense of safety. It gives you this sense that it's actually okay if I die. It's okay. Whatever happens, I will be okay. It's okay. Whatever happens in your life, you will be okay. You come to that knowing, and that gives you this safety. So that's what I'd say for health anxiety.
I'm just going to dive in, Chris,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
say something else. I remember when I first started with this work, like, I don't know, 7, maybe even 8 years ago now, and my teacher would always say, feel the body, feel the body. Like, that was his great advice, and my mind wanted so much more. You know, I had all of this stuff going on, like all of these problems, health anxiety, social anxiety. I was diagnosed with PTSD, complex PTSD, and I just wanted something for my mind. And his great advice was feel the body. Like, that was it. That's all he ever said to me. And it used to drive me crazy. Like, literally, my mind would go insane. But I can see now, looking back, that my mind, it wasn't going insane, but it was burning itself up. It was burning itself out. You know, it was losing its power. Because if I had, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with cognitive techniques, but for me personally, my mind was so dysfunctional. It was so on one, and needed something that, I just keep running away from what was actually going on in the body. If I had been given something to do on a cognitive level, and some of um, this advice, what my teacher, what he was giving me to feel the body, it was so simple, but it was so profound. And here I am 8 years on, and I'm still feeling the body. I'm still sticking with that phrase, feel the body. And it's taken me, I feel personally, taken me way deeper than anything else ever could, from feeling the body, like feeling into my experience, like things start to open up. We go to a completely different experience of ourselves. So I'm not trying to construct Alex and get him to be perfect, or get him in a particular way, or get in this position or that position. I'm feeling the body. I'm feeling into my experience and seeing what life's all about. So the reason I'm saying this is because I don't want you to overlook feeling the body, feeling into the body, feeling into your experience. There's a real wisdom in that statement. So don't overlook it. I just wanted to add that. Yeah, maybe it was of some use.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex.
No worries.
Something was coming to me when you were talking. Anxiety, we don't want to make an enemy out of it. I'm all about loving anxiety. But sometimes you can speak of it in a way like this. Anxiety wants to survive. There's the anxious self in the head that you might believe yourself to be. You might think you are that anxious self in the head, but you're not. You weren't that anxious self in the head when you were born, when you came out as a baby. You weren't. It has been put in you. It's gotten into you. And when we start believing ourselves to be that one, that's what causes us our suffering. And you need to take your power back from that mind. You need to take your power back from that mind. You need to take your power back from the anxious mind because you are infinitely stronger than this anxiety. You are infinitely more powerful than this anxiety. You are infinitely brighter than this anxiety. And this can sound abstract and like, okay, well, how do I do that? You'll know exactly what I mean with time. The presence that you are is stronger than this. And all the practices coming into the body is about developing presence. Every time you stay in the body without being taken by the mind, you're growing the light of your own presence. You're growing the strength and the light of your own presence. And actually, with the world that we're living in, we need people with a strong spiritual presence. We need heart-based, sensitive people who have this strong, unmovable presence. And that is another thing that anxiety can give you, another gift it can give you. It can put you in touch with this fearless, unmovable, unbreakable sense of presence. So that's the invitation. That's the invitation for you. I did want to talk about social anxiety quickly because I said I would. Did you want to add something there, Alex, or?
I was just thinking of a Rumi quote that I read about a month ago, and it says, "Don't feel lonely. The entire universe is within you." And I think you could add on the end of that that the entire universe is within your body. Um, yeah, so feeling the body, we're really exploring more than just this kind of fleshy, bony structure. There's a lot more going on than we think. The clue is in what we think, like there's so much more in the body. The entire universe exists within such a powerful statement. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, if you really knew what these emotions were, if you really knew the reality of what anxiety is without what your thoughts are telling you it is, you'll be blown away. There's so much light within our bodies. There's so much light within every emotional contraction. It's condensed light. Sorry, we might have gone too far. But when this light starts opening up, you feel it. You feel it as this light, this inner light. It's magnificent. It's absolutely magnificent. So yeah, I guess there's two sides to our teaching. We like the awakening side. We love that, but it's also helping people, come on, kind of heal and get out of the ruts of suffering. We try and do both. So yeah, social anxiety quickly before the last couple of questions that have come in. Okay, so everything that we're teaching helps with social anxiety and health anxiety. Growing in presence helps with social anxiety. Because when you walk into a social situation, if you have social anxiety, suddenly, or even before you get to this place, all the thoughts start coming in. This person thinks this of me. What if I do this? What if I embarrass myself? Everybody hates me. Whatever it is, these thoughts start coming in. And the social anxiety sufferer often believes all of these thoughts. So imagine walking into a room and all of these negative thoughts come into your head. And imagine walking into a room and all of these negative, fearful thoughts that everyone's thinking you're an idiot come into your head, and you actually believe them. It's the believing them that drives you crazy. It's the believing them that makes you shy and makes you feel awkward and makes you blush and makes the symptoms come on, whatever symptoms they are. So growing in presence helps you to not believe the thoughts so much that come into your mind. And when you walk into a room and instead of going with the thoughts and doing your usual behaviors of trying to keep yourself safe in all these different ways, instead of doing that, if you learn to, you go into the room and the thoughts start coming in, you come into the body and you stay present in the body and you just breathe into the body when you're talking to someone. You look them in the eyes and you breathe into your body and you stay with the feelings. And those anxious feelings are not driving the thoughts so much, then you'll feel much more calm in those social situations. I'm going to do a whole lecture on this as part of the course because there's a lot that I need to go into. There's lots more different elements to it. But what was I going to say? There's one more thing I wanted to talk to about just on this course. It's like the social anxiety sufferer thinks they're keeping themselves safe by avoiding social situations. And what that can do is it can make your comfort zone smaller and smaller and smaller. And that actually makes your social anxiety worse and worse and worse. For me, when I was at university, just going to a lecture or going to a seminar was too scary for me to do. Sometimes I'd walk to the front door and I can't go in. And I'd turn around and go back home and feel so ashamed about it. And that happened so many different ways, or just walking down the street, someone's coming the other way, they recognize me, they want to talk. I'm like, all right, see you later, walk the other way, all of these things. So we need to slowly, gradually move towards the things that we're afraid of, move towards the conversations we're afraid to have. We need to slowly, gradually, gently, lovingly expand our comfort zone outwards. What I did, I wrote down 5 things every night before I went to bed that I was afraid to do. And the next day, I did them. These were simple things. Speaking to someone at the bus stop, going into a pub on my own and having a lemonade. Simple things which I knew would cause anxiety, which I knew I was afraid of. Signing up to a society, going to a lecture, whatever it was. And slowly, gradually, I start becoming more and more confident in all of these different areas until I'm not afraid to do things anymore. Anxiety can still come up. If I'm giving a talk in front of 50 people in a room, I'm going to feel it, but it's not a signal for me not to do it. Okay, you feel it, you go in, you stay calm. It doesn't drive you, and it doesn't drive me anywhere near as mad as it used to. And that's how you can grow in confidence, and you can expand your comfort zone until you can do whatever you want. I remember one time I was like 24, 23, I'd been doing this for a couple of years. And I used to see these buskers on the streets in Liverpool with their mics, and I thought they were so cool. And that was my goal. Slowly, little bit by bit, I'd work towards it. And then one day I'm out on the street singing with my guitar, with the mic, talking to people. Just, that was like a moment of, yes, I've achieved this. I achieved it by moving towards the fears, seeing the fear as a green light instead of a red light. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. And yes, thank you. Do we have any more questions, Alex, or is there anything you want to add?
No, nothing's come to me right now. I was going to talk about ignoring the mind, but I mean that we can talk about that for another sort of hour or so. So probably best just to leave that. But yeah, in short, trying the best we can to ignore the mind. It is possible. It really is possible. Just to not listen. As simple as that. To not listen. said don't believe or don't buy into it or whatever, but just staying present, centered in the body. We don't have to go with it. It really is a choice. It doesn't appear to be a choice because we've done it so many times. We've done it so many times. We've gone with the mind. We're just living in the mind. But there is possibility of not diving on the thoughts, what come along. We can really stay centered. Yeah, I'll leave that there.
Okay, so there's a couple of other questions that have come in. There will just be a few more moments. I've been stuck in sadness and feeling heavy. Alex, do you wanna bounce on that one?
Feeling. Say the question again.
Sadness and feeling heavy.
Yeah, I mean, is it sadness, depression, like feeling depressed? I'll just presume.
Can I come in and expand this?
Yeah, sure.
I've had over 13 losses, 6 of them deaths, and it's gradually made me withdraw because COVID came, and I had no witnesses to the grief, living alone, and I think I avoided people because the grief had never been addressed, and I was scared of bursting into tears when I was in a group of people, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to express my grief, and COVID, the isolation of COVID didn't give me the opportunity. So then it just got too big and too sad and too heavy.
That's still with you now?
Well, I got a lot out of earlier, so I'm hoping that this will move me out of that, because I really shook. I mean, I got rid of so much stuff, and that because I've been to CBT and stuff like that, and it doesn't work for me. It just keeps me re-traumatizes me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it can help. I mean, I don't usually go down this road, but it can help to connect with people when it comes to sadness and depression. I mean, it really is a key treatment that you do have that possibility, and connect with people. It's definitely worth investing time, energy, money into, whether that's seeing a psychotherapist, a counselor. I know you said you've seen CBT, but there's more skilled people out there.
Yeah.
But from a body-based perspective, I often say like breathing deep and sort of getting the energy moving in the body is a good way to treat sadness, treat depression, but that doesn't really feel that right here. It feels like you need connection more than anything. I don't know if you'd add anything on that, Chris, but it does seem to me that community and working with the body, actually, like we have been, is what would be useful.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm doing yoga and qigong and swimming. So I've kept those kind of connections up. I mean, it's a process, isn't it? I need to get this grief out, and I do. I cry a lot, and I allow myself to sit with it and face it. But yeah, I feel as though, yeah, I'm really hopeful about this awakening anxiety. So thank you both.
That's okay, Jin. Yeah, and just to kind of add on that, like with the yoga, with Tai Chi and things like that, they're not really designed to kind of get in there on an emotional level. Like bioenergetics is specifically intended for emotions, for repressed emotions. So when we work with bioenergetics, we're working with the emotional body, if you like,
Yeah.
Whereas yoga and things, Tai Chi, I'm not putting them down in any way, but they have often a different intention. Of course, they do release tension, but we're really working with what's going on underneath on an emotional level. And it is a process, as you say, It's
Yeah.
that commitment to yourself and coming back to the body and seeing what the body wants to do, and also being patient. Really
Yeah.
being patient. The body has its own timing. The mind
Yeah.
wants a release. It wants, answers and conclusions and things like that. But ultimately, it's all stored within the body, and the body will decide when it's right. And
Yeah.
the best you can do is uh, make a connection with your body like you are doing. So I'd say stick to doing the practice. You can follow along the workouts. You can join us on the 8-week program, whatever you feel to, and also reaching out to people where possible. It is important to connect with others when it comes to sadness and depression and things like that. Really, really important.
Yeah. Thank you.
Chris disappeared. Seems to have vanished, doesn't he? I think Chris lost connection. So yes, it's all on me. Okay, yeah, I hope that was helpful, Jean. Mary, can you just mute for
Thank
me?
you.
I don't know if you can hear me, Mary, but yeah, it's rattling away. Right,
Sorry,
oh, is it back?
my signal dropped out there.
Oh, okay, it's all right.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you gave a wonderful answer.
I tried my best.
He did.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Chris,
Yeah.
can you see the questions there? I've not answered any questions from the chat, so if you figure out where we're at.
Okay, my chat. I can't see the chat since before I um like got booted out. Here's a question from Andrew.
Oh, I can see it. I can see it. Could you speak more about Reiki and breath work and how to stay disciplined and do it? Right, Andrew, you've asked me a similar question like this before. How to stay disciplined. You've just got to do it. You've just got to do it. um, yeah, no, I'm only playing. It's hard. It's really hard, but yeah, it's just starting small, I think starting small, you can do 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes even, just doing what's possible. You can just do that belly breathing. You can really go on a journey with Reiki and breath work. Like it's so powerful. It really is a potent practice, and it is best to start gradual, like just start even 5 minutes, 5 minutes in the morning, laying back, doing the belly breathing and building it up, seeing how present you can stay, with it. And it can become addictive, in a positive sense, like you start to see the results. With the body, it's always hard to convey. Let me just double check the question. And thanks guys, can you speak more about regular breath? How do you stay disciplined and do it? What benefits have you had? Yeah, so when it comes to the Reiki and breath work and the benefits, it was kind of like I was saying, with the Rumi quote, like there's so many indescribable things with the body. Not just I don't like to sound so spiritual or mystical, but there is a lot of that going on in the body, particularly in the belly. And when we start to practice with the Reiki and stuff, or the bioenergetics or body-based meditation, we start to tap into that. And I think one of the biggest benefits, if that's what I want to call it, I've seen is that I feel a lot more open, like I've let life in a lot more. So I'm more here with life rather than, closed off, restricted, just living up here in my mind. Yeah, so a greater level of openness, which is invaluable ultimately to be able to stay open. And it's a continuous journey. I'm always contracting as well. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Any more questions, Chris?
Okay, I'll just answer this question from Amy. She says, give an example of what it means for thoughts and feelings to go into the body. This might be a misunderstanding, so I'm just going to try and explain in a simpler way what I mean by by that. So feelings are generally, it's energy that you feel in your body. Feelings of anxiety is an energy in the body, and thoughts are, you could say, they're the sentences that move through your head. And they're actually energy as well. Like, what is a thought? What really is a thought? You see a sentence in your head, but what is it? It's also an energy. And what happens is when a thought is fearful, it has a certain frequency to it. And that fearful thought that has a certain frequency to it can bring up an emotion of the same frequency. So if it's an anxious thought, it'll bring up an anxious feeling. And then the anxious feeling actually creates more of the sentences in the head, more of the anxious thoughts in the head, which create more of the feelings in the body. And that creates the vicious loop of thinking, feeling. So the way to break out of that vicious loop of thinking, feeling is, instead of giving attention to the thoughts, you don't give attention to the thoughts, because actually attention, when attention comes up into the thinking, in a way, you're feeding the thinking. So instead of giving attention to the thinking, give your attention to the feeling. And bring attention, you could say below the neck, but also there's feeling above the neck as well. There's feeling in the head and jaw and whatever. But you could say below the neck. Bring attention down below the neck and stay with the body, the sensations in the body. Like if I say now, put your hands like this and place your attention in your hands, you might feel a tingling in the hands. Or if I say, feel the wetness of your tongue, without much effort at all, you can feel the wetness of your tongue. If wetness is the word. Feel the sensation of your buttocks on the chair or your feet on the ground. They can go there. They're all just sensations. But when we get a sensation of anxiety, which is just a sensation, we become afraid of it and we try and escape from it and we come up into thinking. But that's just a sensation as well. In the same way that your buttocks on the chair is a sensation, the energy of anxiety can be experienced just as a sensation. So don't give attention to the thinking, give attention to the feeling. And when you give attention to the feeling, like you might feel it in your heart, like a little bit of tension in the heart, when you start giving attention to it, it might grow. It might become bigger in your awareness. It might become brighter in your awareness, and that's good. Let it become bigger, let it become brighter, and then it can open out of your nervous system. It can open out of your body if it wants to, but don't try and release it. Just try to feel it. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, then we might need to back and forth a little bit at some point, just to get that. But also, the more you hear this, the more it'll make sense. And you also need to start practicing it, because the more you practice it, we'll say things and it can resonate. But when you practice it and you get the experience and you feel the experience, you go, ah, yeah, that's what they mean. Wow, that's what they mean. Then that's when you really understand it. And then that never leaves you and you can do it every time. So do the practice. And when through doing the practice, a bit of trial and error here and there, you'll start to really get it. Some people, it takes them a while. It takes them a few weeks. It takes them, or a little even longer to really come to understand this. And it's an art. It's an art. It's like learning an instrument in a way. It's an art, the art of coming back into the body, the art of freeing yourself from the mind.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Thank you. Okay.
I just want to add a little bit on that really quickly. There's one of my teachers. I have two teachers with the body work, and one of them says that when it comes to the body, experience precedes understanding. So first of all, you must have the experience before you actually understand what's being said in a cognitive on a cognitive level. Yeah, just to kind of follow on what you were saying, Chris.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about the bioenergetics is you don't need to understand anything. You do the exercises and it works. Do the exercise, do the bioenergetics, do the exercises, and feel the body and listen to the meditations. If you do come onto the course, listen to the meditations and let them, it's just, they can just take you there. It's repetition. It's drinking it in. It's drinking it in. It's drinking it in. And let it, and eventually you'll just find yourself living in your body. You'll know, okay, this is, yes, it's magic how it happens. If there's a resonance there, if you resonate with what we're saying, then this can work for you. Keep going with it. Yeah, just let it get in. Okay. Thank you so much. Any final comments, questions before we leave?
Only the one that Linda put in, I think she's gone, about leg cramps, because I got them too, especially when I had to, when you said raise your lower back off the floor.
What was the question?
Linda put in that she got leg cramps when she was lying on the floor doing the exercise.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you get cramps, it's fine to just ease off. As I say, it's about making friends with the body. So if it's painful or cramping up, just do what you can. That's what it's about. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Jean.
Thanks both, and good night.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. We've really loved being with you and sharing these 2 weeks with you. And we would love to have you come on a deeper journey with us if you're up for it.
Definitely.
Any questions, drop us an email. And yes, we'll see you. We'll send some more information about the course out in an email tomorrow. Check your junk folders and look on the Facebook group and you'll get it. And I accidentally put the dates as 2023. Sorry, Alex. But I think everyone knows it was 2024. Yeah. Okay. See you.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.